So I just want to welcome everybody to a new program, project, something that kind of relates to the Basement Show. I like to call this Keeping It Real, even though sometimes it's real fucked up. The beautiful thing is, I'm a person who likes to talk. To be able to speak is a wonderful thing. But to be able to talk about something that people would like to hear is another thing. I mean, today we have so many people talking about so much stuff on like Facebook, where a lot of it is gossip. Who did what? Who did this to this person? Who basically broke my heart? We're not doing that. I want to focus on current events, some things that are taking place. And there's so much that's going on. We got the issue with Mr. Cosby. Torture in America. The Ferguson issue. These are just some things that I want to sort of lend my voice to. Forgive me. I said the wrong word. I said lead my voice to versus lend my voice to. Maybe I should have just took one shot of bourbon versus 3. But we're not going to worry about that. I just want you to kind of like, kick back, enjoy the flavor, enjoy what I have to say. Because, right now, I'm the one that got the mic. So, it'd be pretty cool if you just listen.
Comedian Bill Cosby and his legal team with a new statement late today after a new wave of allegations from decades ago. Women coming forward with shocking claims. And here's ABC's Cecilia Vega.
And all of a sudden, I'm feeling drugged.
She is the latest woman to join the firestorm.
The next thing I remember is waking up in bed naked next to Cosby.
When I was a small boy, nothing I loved more than to get up on a Saturday morning with a bowl of cereal, lay down on the floor, and watch Saturday morning cartoons. One of my favorites was Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Get those dirty thoughts out your mind. There is a story that Mr. Bill Jello Pudding Pop Cosby has been drugging and raping women. 5, 8, 10 women has come forward more. I was kind of like, no, not the Cos. Not the guy who brought us Fat Albert, hey, 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 and the Cosby Kids. Not him. Not us the guy who brought us the one character. You remember the one, I'm gonna be going down the street and hanging out with my friends. I can't even call that Ebonics. I don't know what the hell that was. Not that guy. Not the guy from Uptown Saturday Night. The guy who created The Cosby Show. You know the guy with the funny sweaters? Mr. Huxtable. America's dad is now being accused of being a serial rapist. When the women came forward, I didn't believe them. I'm going to be honest. I did not believe them. Because they came forward based on a comedian doing a joke about Bill Cosby. Did I say that wrong? A comedian doing a joke about Bill Cosby. That's what happened when you do a couple shots of bourbon. Forgive me. They're saying that Bill Cosby, for years, had been drugging women. I had this discussion with somebody. I said, no, this is not true. Bill is worth like $300 million. Of course they're going to say this. But what people kept telling me, well, why are they all saying the same story? I can tell you why they're saying the same story. because they had the person before them say the story. You hear one person tell it, it's easy to come back and say, yeah, that's what happened to me. He drugged me. I woke up. He was in a robe. What got me was when the supermodel, Beverly Johnson, you know her. Look her up. Google Beverly Johnson supermodel. Look at the work she's done. When she told the story, I have to be honest. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't standing somewhere in the corner eating a pudding pop, watching Mr. Cosby do what he do. But when Beverly Johnson said, this happened to me, I believe Mr. Cosby did it. I believe Mr. Cosby, Mr. Huxtable, Mr. Sweater Guy, I believe this is that guy, you know, when the police show up at the neighbor house next to you and they start bringing out bodies in a body bag. And then you see the father come out in handcuffs. You know, they put the mic up, the news media put the mic in your face, and you say, well, he was a nice guy. He would be out every morning cutting his grass, waving at you. That's how they operate. It's always that guy, America's dad, the Jell-O pudding, that guy, the guy we should have been watching, the guy now the world is watching. I don't know what's going to happen to Mr. Cosby now. I just know that that's some sick shit. All of that money, $350 million you're worth, you could have went to the south of Paris and bought hookers every night. But you decide to rape women, drug them, then rape them. That's some sick shit. Real sick. I can't do pudding pops anymore.
No apologies, no regrets from former Vice President Dick Cheney for the harsh CIA interrogation techniques used on terror detainees after 9/11. What the Senate Intelligence Committee labeled torture in its blistering report this past week, the former VP today called necessary as he delivered a powerful counterattack this morning on NBC's Meet the Press. Mr. Cheney took strong exception to that Senate report and, contrary to its conclusions, told our Chuck Todd that the interrogation techniques absolutely worked.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney, unwavering in his support for the harsh interrogation tactics that happened on his watch, today ratcheted up his defense on Meet the Press.
I'd do it again in a minute.
Cheney argued the methods, including prolonged periods of waterboarding, were necessary in the wake of the September 11th attacks and insisted the procedures were not torture.
Torture was what the al-Qaeda terrorists did to 3,000 Americans on 9/11. There's no comparison between that and what we did with respect to enhanced interrogation.
A fired
In the news, there's a story in the news. Some of you don't watch the news. Sometimes you got to turn off damn Judge Judy, Murray Povich, Hip Hop Wives, and find out what's going on in the world. They're saying the CIA has been torturing people. There's documents that's being released that said Americans tortured. Dick Cheney, Darth Vader, said sometimes it's necessary. I don't agree with Dick on a lot of stuff. I think Dick is a real dick. But torture, I think, is necessary. That's right, I said it. Torture, I think, is necessary. Case in point, a scenario that I like to create for you right now. You have a child that's missing. He's been missing for 2 days. You go over to a neighbor house, crying, distraught. You're asking this neighbor, had he seen the child? This neighbor of yours, he has no children. He's alone. He lives by himself. While there, on the side of the couch, you see a 6.5 blue Nike shoe that you know your child was wearing. It looks like the one that your child was wearing. You ask the neighbor, where did that come from? He looks at the shoe and tells you, I don't know how they got there. You don't believe it. Now, what you can do at this point, I guess you can call the police. But they'll probably tell you, we can't go in there and search. We need a warrant. We need probable cause. But you love your child and may feel that the child could be alive. And he knows where the child is at. What do? I tell you what I do. You're going to tell me where my kid is. And I won't stop until you tell me. We got surveillance cameras everywhere. We see who is known to be a terrorist enter a building. There's been chatter that we've been following as CIA agents about a terrorist attack against a certain building in America. We know this particular guy is a terrorist. We see him go in a building. We see him go in a building with a backpack. He exits the building without the backpack. We catches up with him. We ask him, hey, where's the backpack, buddy? His response is, I didn't have a backpack. Our response is, we got 20 cameras, close up, wide shots, all angles. We know it's you. You had a backpack on. You are a terrorist. You went in a building. We've been hearing the chatter about blowing up a building. He says, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I say you do. I think you'll tell me. What's important here? Him having a little skin burn, snatching off a few nails, shoving up a tube up his ass to give him a forced enema to save the lives of hundreds. If you know 100% this is the guy, you know he is a terrorist. You've seen him go in the building with the backpack. You saw him exit the building without the backpack. We know this is our guy. But he don't want to talk. I think he will. What do you think?
This has been an incredibly tense time over the last half hour or so. This is where a lot of the protesters gathered to hear the announcement. It went completely silent as people listened on a car radio to hear if Darren Wilson was going to be indicted. And when he wasn't, for a moment there was complete chaos where some protesters rushed towards the police. The police suddenly came out in lines of police in riot gear. And then just about 20 minutes ago, we heard some shots fired and the crowd ran in one direction.
Why is it? There's a segment of the population that believe the other segment of the population is dumb and ignorant and don't know shit. Remember when we saw Rodney King? I remember when I saw Rodney King getting the shit beat out of him by the police. I never forget that. This was during the days when I used to smoke like mass weed. I come in the house one night. I used to have this thing of turning on the TV and turning on my stereo. The TV would be turned down and the stereo would be turned up. And on my TV that night was this image of this guy getting the crap beat out of him by the police. I thought I was watching a cheap independent film. Turns out it was the news. It was Rodney King. Later, the police, LAPD, the prosecutor, they said to us, what you see happening is not really what you see happening. But we're looking at it. It's on film. The guy that was choked out, Eric Garner, in New York, they want to tell you the same thing. But we saw it. He was standing there talking to the police. At no point did they ever say, turn around, put your hands against the wall, you're under arrest. They just attacked him, choked him out, and killed him. I guess they think when we took that trip over here on the ship, somehow we believed we was riding on Carnival Cruise. Now we got Mike Brown. The police says he was ordered to get back on the sidewalk. I'm guessing he didn't follow the order. The police pulled up. Hey, get back on the sidewalk. The cop is in his car. I'm guessing he opened his door. For some crazy reason, Mike Brown, who they describe, he's about 6 feet, 250 pounds, big boogeyman. He decided, I'm not getting on the sidewalk, and guess what? I'm going to take your gun from you and shoot you with it. Because they tell us there's a bullet found in the car seat. Blood stains on the officer uniform is from Mike Brown. Meaning Mike Brown was shot. It's also said he takes off. He's wounded. He runs 20, 30 yards. But at some point, he reflects back on the days when he played football and decided, you know what? I'm not going to run from the cop with the loaded weapon who just shot me. I'm going to turn around, duck my head down, and charge him like the days of old when I was on the football field, on the gridiron. Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that? Because the Bill O'Reillys keep saying that's what happened? Do you really believe that? I'm so sick of hearing people say stuff like, I wish people would get so upset when we kill each other. Why is there no protest? Where's Reverend Al at when we shoot each other? This is what happened. If I was to go across the street right now and shoot my neighbor, and if the police was to show up and arrest me, I'm going to jail. I have my day in court. I'm sent to prison. I'm punished. The difference is the police officers, they're never punished. They keep their job. They keep their pay. You even have people sending money from around the country for the defense fund because they believe he had to do something. They released a videotape of him strong-arming a guy taking cigars. I'm tired of hearing people say that. I'm so sick of hearing people say, we need to be upset when we kill each other. Guess what? White people kill each other. Hispanics kill each other. Indians kill each other. Chinese kill each other. Russians kill each other. The very first killing that took place on the planet, if you believe in the Bible, was a brother killing his brother. The difference is these people are usually charged, have their day in court, found guilty, sent away, executed. The strange thing is, when it's a police officer, it seldom happens.